Hi, everybody, and welcome to Counselor Connection with me, Dr. Osier. And you are obviously seeing some sports teams, and these are all of my favorite sports teams. If you don't know, I was born and raised in Michigan, so I have a natural connection with all of the Michigan teams. Obviously, the favorite being the center one, the Detroit Lions. And yes, I'm aware they're not the greatest franchise in the NFL, but I do like them and I support them. And before you go off wanting to hound me about the Michigan Wolverines, I am aware that there are many Ohio State fans out there, as well as some Notre Dame fans, um, and the dislike between Michigan and Ohio State is long, uh, historic, and the communication between the two fan base is actually kind of fun, especially with the Ohio State teams winning of late. But Michigan is turning around. But before you get wanting to say some things to me, let's remind ourselves that today or this month, the month of October, is National Bullying Prevention Month. And I want to give an overview of the three words that you all should start to know and really start to use and understand in your days here at Wayne Trail, as well as just in life in general. So we're going to take some time to look over the three words. But the month of October also reminds us of Halloween. And you can see in this picture that obviously when you think back to some of your Halloween past years, that maybe you dressed up and went out trick-or-treating and dressed up in some costumes. And it's interesting because we do those things because we want to be different or promote something we may like. And so on that night, typically people celebrate differences in us all, and we find unique costumes and we think that's cool. It's actually a great model that we could go through life with. When we see somebody that may be different than us, we could actually think very highly of that and be intrigued with it in a good way. And so probably the number one way to stop any type of bullying act, whether it's rude, mean, or bullying itself, is to consider Halloween night, and that we all dress and maybe act differently on that night, and we celebrate that, and we actually consider it a great, fun night. So, Wayne Trail students, when you look at other students who may be different than you, or you're considering who they are is different than what you are, think of Halloween night and think how that actual night is pretty cool. And so any differences actually is pretty cool, in my opinion. You'll learn later on in the year that that's called diversity. And diversity, I think, is special and unique. So let's move on to the three words. The first word is rude. And you are going to hear in your life many rude things said, sometimes towards you, sometimes towards other people. And rude things get said quite frequently in a daily life. Maybe you've heard moms and dads say some rude things towards each other. And so it really needs to have its definition. And so that is when somebody says or does something, but they didn't mean to hurt that person's feelings. This happens again a lot, and it's not deliberate or intentional to hurt somebody, but it will hurt someone's feelings. And so word for that is rude. I want you to really think about if rude things are said to you, or maybe more importantly, do you make some rude statements towards others? And you can kind of notice if you make a rude statement because you'll say something and somebody will have a reaction. Maybe it's they'll walk away or they'll laugh at it, or they will ask you to not say that again. Those are some obvious ways that you may notice if you were rude to somebody. Some of the other ways too is look at their facial expressions. If you say something that is rude, many times you'll see it on their face. They may give a frown or look intently on you as if to say, what were you saying? So it is important to understand if you are being rude to somebody. It's also important if your feelings yourself are hurt because of what people are saying to you. In fact, in the next couple of weeks, we will look at how to appropriately handle when somebody says something rude to you. The next word is the word called mean, and that's when somebody is purposefully saying or doing something to hurt you. Obviously more than once and more than twice. And they are intending. In fact, they are meaning to hurt you. It's a step above the rude. It's as if they know that they are going to hurt you, and they do it anyways. That is called mean. And here at Wayne Trail, when we see students being mean towards another student, that a write-up can occur. That would definitely be breaking the 5 R's. And so a write-up needs to happen, and many times that write-up is going to get sent home to your parents, so your parents are aware of that. It basically means that you know what you're doing, you shouldn't have did that. Again, look at if you are doing that to people, as well as try to understand if people are doing that to you. Again, in a couple weeks, I will be giving you some ways to handle if people are being mean to you. But in general, if somebody's being mean to you, you want to tell that person to stop and then seek out some type of an adult to help you. And the last word is the bullying. I think we're all pretty familiar with that word. We've heard it many times while at school, all the way back in our kindergarten years. But I want to define it a little bit better. In fact, this is exactly how the state of Ohio defines it. It's when somebody is intentionally being aggressive towards you, and it's repeated over time. Time is going to be looked at as maybe months or even years, but not a one-time occurrence if somebody was doing something to you that you didn't like. It has to be over time. And the last part of that is it involves an imbalance of power. Maybe somebody is bigger or stronger, or there are several people up against one person. That would be considered a power struggle, or someone has power. And so we would classify that as bullying. Again, here at Wayne Trail, if we find out bullying is happening, that is something the school takes very seriously. And immediately we will intervene and try to protect and give some form of direction to help. So again, in the next couple of weeks, you'll learn of how to handle if somebody is bullying you, or if you're participating in bullying, what you should be doing, or you witness if people are bullying. So I want you to think about these 3 words and think, 2 main questions. Are people being rude or mean or bullying me? Or, and a question I think that is just as important, am I being rude, mean, or bullying anybody? Take a moment to kind of think about that question. And then again, in the next couple of weeks, we'll look at how to handle those situations. I kind of want to leave you with, again, my favorite sports teams. And so I'm putting myself out there a little bit. I'm opening myself up, but let's try to remember not to be rude or mean or bullying, even with something as silly as sports. I want to thank you for today. And remember the 5 R's. Those things are very important.